Welcome back to Crypto Tutorial. On this video I would like to discuss Cardano, how it's currently performing and what we could expect during the upcoming hours and days. But before doing so, I would highly appreciate if you could follow me on Twitter at ThoroughCrypto, and also you will be able to find the link down below in the description underneath social and info. So guys, it will be actually highly appreciated if you could follow me on Twitter. And as well, if you haven't seen today's video about Matic, do not forget to give it a thumbs up down below if you like the content about Matic and that it perhaps might be heading towards the $2.05 during this weekend, and it would be actually an absolutely healthy setback. So this being said, let's take a quick look at what we're seeing on Cardano. So for sure we are inside of this broadening wedge pattern, I would call this, and why I'm saying this is because we have seen already multiple touch points on top of this ascending support. We have only seen few, so it's not still a confirmed support line yet, but we have seen actually multiple touch points below this ascending resistance. So therefore it is a confirmed ascending resistance line, and what I think is actually quite important is that if we are going to see a break outside of this pattern, it will be actually a major breakout towards the upside. But what is important to know is that we have to stay on top of this range at $1.56 for sure if we would like to see a stronghold getting created on top and a further continuation towards the upside. Otherwise, if we do see a further decline, I perhaps think that we will be seeing a major leg towards the downside as well. So what is it going to look like if we are going to experience a major movement towards the upside? I will be selecting the beginning of my ascending support all the way towards the third touch point. So you can clearly see that it's perfectly aligned together with this third touch point underneath this ascending support line. Therefore this is my breakout target, and what is actually good to know is that once we see a breakout outside of this pattern, it is actually a rather different breakout. Therefore we have to see a breakout occur above our latest touch point underneath this ascending resistance, and at that point in time, if we do see a breakout above this horizontal level, this would be a confirmed breakout outside of this broadening wedge pattern. And if we do see this occur during the upcoming days, perhaps on the 5th of December on Sunday, we might expect a major move towards the upside on Cardano of approximately 14%, heading all the way towards the $1.92, and that is for sure something you do not want to miss out on. But as well, if we do see right now not a stronghold being found on top of $1.56, for sure it is very important that we will be as well seeing a major decline towards the downside. And what I think is actually quite likely to occur is that we are going to see a stronghold being found on top of the $1.41. Clearly we have seen support at that point in time previously once we saw this major wick towards the downside, and what could also happen is that we will be seeing a stronghold being found on top of this level of support that we have seen previously at $1.48. That is also a very likely possibility if we do not hold strong on top of this ascending support range. So this being said, I would like to enable right away the EMA ribbon. What I think is actually, well, quite devastating right now is that we are once more breaking down below the EMA ribbon, and therefore I am actually very wanting to see a stronghold being found on top of the $1.56. Otherwise, if we do see a further decline, we will be once more experiencing major resistance above us by the EMA ribbon, and that is actually something we do not want to see right now. So personally, I'm right now concerned if Cardano breaks down below that we will actually see a further decline in price action. But otherwise, if we see a stronghold getting created, eventually a breakout above the EMA ribbon is actually very likely to occur as well on top of the 0.236 at $1.64, getting a stronghold right here before seeing that major leg towards the upside and seeing a confirmed breakout outside of this broadening wedge pattern. So this being said, I would like to head towards a 1 hourly time frame where we can clearly see that we are actually seeing that the EMA ribbon is serving actually as a level of resistance right now, because we did see a breakdown below this range. So of course right now it is very important to hold strong on top of this ascending support, but what is concerning me is that we would like to see a major recovery. Otherwise it is very likely that we will actually actually be underneath the EMA ribbon for quite a while, and that is not good for the overall trend at all, because we would see a further decline in price action on Cardano, and that is something I personally would not like to see right now. I would rather see a stronghold being found, a breakout at above the 0.236, finding support on top of the EMA ribbon, and afterwards a major breakout outside of this broadening wedge pattern. As well, let's take a quick look at the MACD. What I think is actually quite important on the MACD right now is that on the 1 hourly time frame, we have already experienced quite a lot of momentum towards the downside. Therefore, it is likely that we are going to see, well, the current momentum towards the downside cooling down for a while and actually heading towards a crossover on the 1 hourly time frame eventually, once we see as well a decline in momentum strength. And that is actually good to know, because if we do see a crossover during the upcoming hours, we could perhaps see a stronghold being found on top of that $1 and $56 range. If we head towards the 4 hourly time frame, we are seeing the opposite occur. We are clearly seeing a crossover towards the downside on the 4 hourly time frame. Therefore, I am actually quite concerned that we are not actually going to hold strong on top of this ascending support range. But for sure, as I told you previously, I think it's of utmost importance to stay on top of this range, and also especially because we will still be creating this higher low structure if we do hold strong on top of this area. Otherwise, it is likely that we are actually going to see a lower low getting created, and that would be quite devastating for this minor uptrend that we have been creating during the past week. So for the overall trend on Cardano, holding strong on top of the $1.56 is for sure a must right now. Lastly, I would like to discuss the MACD on the daily time frame, where we can clearly see that we were heading towards a crossover of momentum towards the upside. That is for sure something that we are not seeing right now, and what I think is concerning is that if we do not hold strong on top of this $1.56 range, it is very likely that we are actually going to see further continuation of momentum towards the downside instead of a decline of momentum and a possible crossover taking place. So therefore, right now on the MACD, we would like to see a stronghold being found. Otherwise, this crossover on the daily time frame might perhaps not occur, and we will see a continuation of momentum towards the downside. For sure, something I think would be absolutely devastating for the overall trend on Cardano. So this is something you have to take into consideration for sure. But if we do hold strong on top of this range and eventually see a crossover taking place, it is likely that we're going to see a massive move towards the upside, and that is something I think that will truly occur if we hold strong on top of the $1.56. This being said, lastly, I would like to discuss on the 4 hourly and 1 hourly time frame the RSI. On the RSI, you can clearly see right now that we are not seeing any type of bullish or bearish divergence, but we are clearly heading towards a possible bullish divergence due to the fact that we are seeing a major decline on the RSI and we are almost breaking down below our previous low. Therefore, we would be seeing a lower low getting created on the RSI, but still a higher low getting created on the chart. And this is actually giving me a bit of confidence that we are going to see that stronghold being found on top of the $1.56 range where we are currently trading at. Lastly, I would like to discuss on the 1 hourly time frame. What we are clearly seeing is actually already a bullish divergence taking place on the 1 hourly time frame, and that is due to the fact that we're seeing this higher low getting created, but as well we are seeing this lower low getting created on the RSI. Therefore, this is a confirmed bullish divergence, and we are right now seeing a stronghold being found as well where we are currently trading at. And what I personally think is important to know as well is that if we do see a further decline, we will be breaking down below the dotted line, and therefore I do expect that we are going to see a further increase towards the upside anytime once we break down below the dotted line on the lower part of the RSI. So right now, what are the most important things I discussed during this video? For sure, the stronghold on top of this ascending support, because if we do see a breakdown, it will be devastating for the overall trend. And what else is actually good to know is that once we see an increase in price action after we did find the stronghold on top of this ascending support, it is very likely that we are going to see this major 14% leg towards the upside, heading once more towards the $1.90 range. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you did enjoy the content, do not forget to give me a thumbs up down below. It will be highly appreciated, and you will be supporting the channel by doing so. So thank you very much, and peace out, guys.